Hey, I'm Andy. This is Greg Berzinsky's son. He doesn't have a name, so don't worry about that. We're at the Philadelphia Barber Company in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm going to give him a cleanup. He's growing out his hair, so we're not going to do too much to it, but we're going to clean it up really, really nice and give him a beard trim as well. So I don't want to do too much to his hair. He's growing out his hair. A lot of people have been growing out their hair lately, and I feel like they don't know how to go about getting a haircut. They're like, do I get a haircut? Do I get a cleanup? Do I just not visit the barbershop for like a year? What do I do? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean up this stuff. He almost has like, a lot of guys have this. It's like their beard meets with their neck hair and it becomes a scarf. We're gonna get rid of his scarf. And then we're also going to be kind of cleaning up around the ears here, but I'm not going to be like giving him a taper or anything. His sideburn here ends, you know, about at the top of his ear. So that's kind of where we're going to start fading his beard in, because we want these hairs to be long enough to go back with the rest of his hair. So I'm just using a trimmer. I'm not using like my full clipper right now. I don't really see myself using a full clipper with this haircut anyways. So I'm going to take my trimmer and just make that line towards his ear, because I'm going to be giving him a beard trim as well. So this is just starting my work a little bit for me. This is way too long. We're going to be doing, you want to do a 2 on your beard, right? So we're going to be doing a 2 on his beard. So I just kind of want to start that. And you can see that this comb is coming at an angle. His hairline is right here, so that's why my comb is going to be going with that line there. And I'm going to pull it out and just fade that in. And I'm going to come back to that after I do the 2 on his beard. But again, this is just starting it and starting the cleanup process around his ear. And I really don't want to take much length off of here. He's gotten to the point where his hair is finally starting to lay down. If you're growing out your hair, you know that you have to go through an awkward phase with your hair, and you just have to like sit and wait. And if I take too much off of this area, then I'm going to bring him back to about a month of awkwardness, and that's like defeats the whole purpose of growing your hair. He has a cowlick right here, and this hair doesn't belong. So I always like to say, you know, the hairline, if you want to create the hairline yourself, the bone right here, just go nicely down there. And when someone's growing their hair out, I'll take my comb and bring it there at that angle, and then take the trimmer and just scoop out that hair. Don't cut into their hair, but these hairs are never really gonna, grow much longer than this. So those are the hairs that you want to get rid of and take care of. Are the hairs that are never going to be one with that once it gets longer. And same with underneath here. Just take the comb, lift it up so it's out of the way, and make that hairline. And once his hair starts to get longer, and like this hair, because we're not touching it, we want it to grow. Once it starts to get longer and starts to come over and cascade down, then you don't really need to clean up that, because it's just unnecessary maintenance, unless you want to, unless it makes you feel cleaner and more groomed, I guess. But you don't, it's not necessary, unless you also want to put your hair in a ponytail or something and have it cleaned up. But it's just, again, it's just more maintenance. So I'm going to do that same thing on this side. And so hairline here, comb, in line there. Again, I'm going to come back around after I've done the 2 on his beard and fade that back in. And then take your comb, check out the bone on his head. That sounds kind of funny. Have it at an angle, and then just scoop that hair out. You see how short these are in comparison to this? So that's how you know they don't belong there right now. trying to avoid, making harsh lines. I'm not trying to give him like a shape up, line up right now, because growing your hair is all about kind of working with what you naturally have. So that's why I'm kind of scooping the hair out rather than just being like, I am making a hairline like on a Ken doll. We don't want to make you look like a Ken doll. Do you want to look like a Ken doll?
I'd rather not.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. I don't know you yet.
Oh, is this the first time you guys have met?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just like us.
Just kidding. Sorry. So I also want to kind of scoop the hair. Look down for me. From the back here as well. His hair, look a little less. His hair isn't coming down to reach the back of his neck yet, so we need to clean up what's exposed. And again, just kind of scoop that out. His hairline is pretty good here. I'm not going to go up too far there. I don't want to just have him have this like stubbly neck. But I'm going to be trimming this up with scissors a little bit more. You see how it's kind of uneven just from, lack of haircuts, which is great because then it gives me more to work with and more to shape and make the interim of this grow out process better. So I'm going to be getting that with scissors eventually. I'm going to be cutting his hair dry. If his hair was longer and I would be giving him, more of a formal haircut, like a haircut, I would wet his hair and take more length off, and I would section it more and do that. That's a whole other thing that we're not doing right now. So I'm going to cut it dry because I want to see how his hair reacts naturally. Did you blow dry your hair today?
No.
No. So he just woke up, put some stuff in it, and rolled with it. And I'm assuming that's what he's going to be doing after this. So I want to cut it dry. Because of that. So I'm gonna focus on the back of his neck right now. I need you to look down, but not a lot. Ooh, look at gray hair. You're turning into your father. It's like the Lion King.
Is there actually gray hair?
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel like a monkey right now, just like.
Is it gray or really blonde?
Oh no, can I pull it out?
Yeah.
Wait. There's a couple in there.
That's
so fine.
You sure they're not just like two blondes?
It's
Today's not been a good day for me.
Okay, I'm gonna position your head to where I want it. There. Okay, so you see these guys here. I want those to be gone, but I'm not gonna cut across and make a line. So I'm gonna take my comb, and it's nice and clean from what we just did, so I don't have to worry about fading that in with shears. So I'm gonna take it and just get those little baby guys. And by pulling the hair away, I'm avoiding making that Ken doll line. I hope you know what I'm referring to now, since I said Ken doll, but.
I can pop up a picture.
Yeah, just, no, we don't want that. We don't want it. So I want to create kind of more of a layered effect, so I'm just gonna keep going up a little bit. And like I said, I don't want to take too much off. I don't want to ruin any progress, but I do want to clean this up for him. And so these little guys, I can just kind of take and point cut. Stuff that the shears didn't grab. He's got this little wing right here. I'm going to take it. You can kind of see that it's at an angle right now. So I like to use my finger as like a rest. So just kind of go along and point cut it in. These take some patience sometimes. It's not gonna just be like one chop and they're gone. You're gonna have to cut it, comb it a little bit, see what's left over, figure out which angle you need to go in to get it. And I'm gonna do that on this side as well. So see, this has a nice shape to it, but it's not just a straight line. It's a little jagged, but it's like a organized jagged. And then again, I'm just gonna kind of point cut around. this isn't a precision haircut. This isn't, you know, like your typical everything has a place and the lines are super crisp. That's not what I want. What I want is for, oh my God, what I want, what I want is for him to run his fingers through his hair and it to fall anywhere and be okay, not for it to look perfect. I want it to be perfectly messy. And I'm just kind of texturizing the bottom here so it doesn't get too heavy. He still has some growth to go for this to overlap and come down. So in the meantime, you know, you can kind of texturize this and make it a little bit lighter. This is the heaviness that we want to come down. So especially in the summertime, it gets really, really hot back here. Do you find yourself getting kind of sweaty? Like,
Oh, whenever I go to the gym first place, that's always.
it's right here. Yeah. Sorry for smacking your neck. Just making sure you're awake. So if you make it a little bit lighter, it's easier on them, and they're not going to get to the point, hopefully, where they're like, screw this, I'm shaving my head. They're going to continue to grow it out. Have you had that moment yet?
Yeah. There was one day I just wasn't feeling my hair. I just went and got like a 1 on the side and just was going to give up like 6 months of progress.
But you didn't do it.
Yeah, just because the barbershop was closed. It's a Sunday.
Do you see the difference?
No, I do.
Just a little bit?
I can see in the back. It doesn't work.
No,
whenever I
the
looked.
neck fur.
No,
the
whenever.
stuff is gone.
No,
Yeah,
whenever I
yeah.
looked in the mirror, I would see that. I was like, oh, that doesn't look good.
Cool. So, like, I mean, that's my goal with. That's why I cut hair, because I want you to look in the mirror and see a difference. Screw what anyone else thinks, right? I don't care. I want you to look in the mirror and feel good about it, because I barely did anything, but that was the whole point of this. That's what I wanted to do. Do you want any texture on top? Do you want any length off the top? You don't need it, but if you want to add a little bit of texture, we could make it a little bit lighter, because you have a lot of hair.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't know how much I should do. I mean,
Let me just add a little bit of texture here, just for the sake of making it a little bit lighter. Like I said, you have a ton of hair.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be in your face for a second.
That's fine.
Oh, Karen. Manager? Where's the manager? Can I speak with the manager, please? So, I'm not gonna take any length off. I just wanna point cut this and make it a little bit thinner. I could use my thinning shears, but I think we could manually do this a little bit better. So I'm just gonna be slicing in there. So see, there's no length coming off. And this is completely vertical. You know, I'm not going across there. As long as you are holding the hair completely up and your shears are pointing down, you will be fine. I'm gonna get this front section that I just put into his eyeballs and do the same thing. And because I'm not taking any length off, I can kind of do this in any location of his hair. The sectioning isn't too critical because there's no guideline for me to follow. It's just, I'm thinning it out without using the thinning shears. So I can just kind of go around and do that. And you feel his hair, feel where it feels a little thick, or look in the mirror and see where it's, it's a little chunky right there. Okay, so I don't want to just keep chopping into your hair. I'm pretty satisfied on how it looks. There's still some long hairs right behind his ears, but I don't want to cut those, because if you cut those, then they're going to be annoying for him and they're going to be stubby and you're not going to be able to kind of move them around. And you want to be able to kind of tuck it behind your ear. And when his hair gets longer, then those can move around more, and that's going to be part of his hairstyle rather than it being an annoyance. I'm talking to them, I'm not talking to you. You just keep,
Just a habit.
I'm just kidding.
Acknowledging.
I'm being mean. I've had a long day and I'm taking it out on you. I'm sorry, okay. Let's move on to his beard. Let's do that. So he wants a 2 on his beard. I'm not gonna put him back. Usually for a beard trim, I'll kind of put them back. I'm gonna show you what I'm doing, so I'm gonna keep him upright. 2. And I think this was faded in properly on our part. I might go back over and just make sure that that's seamless there. Just kind of going around, getting all the stuff. I'm gonna fade this in. I'm gonna be giving him a line here. He says he likes a straight razor. He shaves with a straight razor, so I'm gonna do that for him as well. But I don't want to make a line, and then I'm not a fan of there being like a big corner right on their jaw, so I'm gonna fade that in naturally because we have the ability to do so. And I'm gonna keep going around. Okay, so that's the basic length that we're gonna work with. Might go back around with the scissors just to make sure I have all the little hairs happening. His mustache is sparse as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make it an appropriate length with my comb and trimmer. Just kind of bring it up and get those little hairs and then line it up over his lip naturally. So he still has some hair there. You don't want to bring your lines down too low, right? Just kind of get what doesn't need to be there. As a rule of thumb, I usually say go to the corner of the mouth and no lower than that, unless, I mean, everyone's facial hair is different. Everyone's facial hair grows in a different pattern and a different thickness. So generally it's the corner of the mouth and I'll just go up and follow their hairline. But you know, sometimes it's really patchy here and they hate it. So you have to go down a little bit lower. Sometimes they want to take the mustache off and just follow this line there, but that's not the case here. So do exactly what I did on that other side here. And before I take this off, I'm not entirely sure I want to take it off yet. I want to see what it looks like just a little bit shorter. Before you just go like taking stuff off of people's faces, play with the length a little bit. See, that looks fine. That looks a little bit more natural. It doesn't look like, because I'm not really shaving your mustache off. Yeah. If I was shaving your mustache off, I would take that off too, but we're leaving it. So let's just leave it a little bit shorter like that. So again, corner of the mouth. I use the same strategy to look for long hairs on the beard as I would to look for crumbs on a countertop. So you gotta like see it from the angle, you know, get down, get into it. Okay. So he wants a line. I'm gonna make the line first, and then I'm gonna fade this in, and then clean up his lines with the straight razor. So since we did a 2, I'm gonna grab my 1.5 and just start working my way down. And the direction that I'm going is, you know, towards this area because his line is going to be coming down there. Is that okay on your neck, how I'm having you positioned? Okay. That was open because I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to take a chunk out of his facial hair. I'm going to do that on the same side since I already have this guard on. This is open, which is basically a 2. Close it, make it a 1.5. 000, no guard. You can kind of see where his lines are going to be, so I just want to lightly touch it. Give myself a guideline, open it, and flick up. Use your corners here because it's, not like a flat surface like the head is. This is just like a super subtle fade. Not everyone has these corners coming out, so this doesn't apply to everybody. One open and just slowly start fading that in. I'm using the corner again just because the angles are a little weird. Closed it, full one. I'm gonna do that on the other side. That was open, this is now closed. We're getting there. I just want to take my half guard and kind of use the corner and fade that in a little bit more. I'm going to start on this side. This is open, so it's basically a 1, but just, to be cautious. Now close. Some hairs you have to, follow the way that it grows. So this is growing in this way, so I got to come at it from that angle. That's open. And just kind of play around with the corners of his face. What we're doing. Okay, now I want to make the line. It's possible to make the line on the beard while they're back. For some reason, people aren't aware on how to sit straight back with their neck up. So I recently have been making the line while they're sitting up and just tell them like sit super straight and then just look up. It's not too comfortable on their neck, so you got to do it kind of with the quickness. But it's much better than putting them back, making your line, doing the nice straight razor line up, and then putting them up and having them look up and it's like, what are you doing? So I'm gonna make the line while he's sitting up. Okay, now look up a little bit. His Adam's apple is right here, so his hair doesn't grow below that. That's good. Look straight again. You can see if you come from this angle that this is where that 90-degree angle sits. And I want that line to be right at that corner there. Because when he's looking forward like this, you want to see the beard here, but you don't want to see the beard line there. You want it to be right at that neck crease, so look up. Kind of take it away. You want to keep it a little bit, maybe too low at first. You can always bring the line up, but you don't ever want to bring it up too high because then it just looks a little silly. So these hairs are a little too long for my liking. I'm going to take my comb, scoop them out, and cut them. How's your neck? Is it okay? Mm-hmm. So you've got like a little patch here. Don't worry about that. Just as long as your line is straight and you're cleaning it up properly. That's what we're looking for. Yeah. How do you feel about your line?
Looks good.
Okay. And the length on the beard, how's that?
Good.
Looks like a 2, right?
Yeah.
Great. And the mustache, we did what we could.
Yeah.
Same with this. Okay, cool. I'm gonna get this hair off of him, then I'm gonna put him back. I'm gonna make a hot towel because it's the end of the day and we clean our shop properly and there aren't any hot towels, so I'm gonna make one. I'm also gonna blow dry this hair off. If you leave the hair on the cape and then you give them a hot towel, sometimes the hair will collect, the towel will collect the hair when you put it on their face and then it just looks like they have this hairy towel on their face and it's gross. This is a headrest, not a cartoon-sized mallet. Okay. Okay, now go back one. Okay, and while I'm preparing my towel, I'm gonna put some pre-shave oil on his shave areas. This is just a mixture basically of castor oil and jojoba oil. It's gonna soften up the skin and prepare it for the blade. He asked, is this position supposed to be comfortable? It's not supposed to be like uncomfortable, but I like to have the headrest here because I need this area to be available and exposed and stretched a little bit more than if his neck were to be in a regular position. It makes for a closer shave and less razor burn. So lift your head up for me. If this were to be up higher, put your head down. You see how I have less area to get around and stretch his skin and get up in there. So I know it's not the most comfortable, but it's better than your head being here and then you still having to do this anyways. Okay. Hot towel. If I'm not shaving the mustache, I like to just put it over the neck. Like this. Take this, one corner over the eyeball, other corner over the eyeball. And that's really all you need. Like I said, unless you're doing the mustache, you'd put it over the lip and not cover their nose because you don't want to kill your client and suffocate them, but that's fine. How you doing in there?
I'm doing pretty well.
Okay. I'm gonna take that off. I'm going to start on the neck because the neck's more sensitive than the cheeks, and I want to keep it as hot of skin as possible. So I'm going to take his skin and stretch it. Do you have sensitive skin at all?
No.
Okay. And it's not really that thick. If he had thicker, coarser hair or sensitive skin, I wouldn't be going against the grain right away. I would be going with the grain, and then I would give him a couple more hot towels and then go against the grain. But this area is usually a little sensitive, so I'm just gonna go with it. See, this patch here almost makes it look like the line's not even, but it is. He's just got a patch neck. Totally normal. Cheeks are a bit easier, just don't go down too far and ruin the lines that you had made.
So I definitely need to start using pre-shave when I use a straight razor.
You're not?
No, it's just, it's okay. The blade's sliding, we're fine.
Do you even watch Beardbrand?
No, I do. I just had never watched the shaving videos because I didn't shave my beard with a straight razor.
Wow. Okay, now he's all lined up. I'm gonna give him a cold towel to close his pores. You never want to like shave the first layer of someone's skin off, because that's essentially what you're doing. And then just leave their pores open to be exposed to God knows what. So we're gonna get a cold towel. This has a little bit of lemon on it. So if you see any like this yellow stuff, that's lemon. Put it over his mouth. If you're doing a full hot shave, kind of where you want it. Can you breathe, sir? Are you okay? Okay, just checking. Clear. Now, this is the point where you wait and just stare at your client, and they don't know. Then I'll take this cold towel and just kind of wipe any excess hair off their face, neck. You smell like a lemon. And the skin's gonna be kind of wet still, so you can just kind of fan it dry. I want to put some talc on his skin, but I don't want to put it on like extremely wet. Do you feel like you're on a beach being fanned by a palm tree?
I've never had the fans part at a beach, so
What if I fed you a grape?
drinking out of a coconut I think would do it.
I don't have a coconut. I put my talc powder in a little salt shaker, or else it just comes out way too fast. People are like, what do you just use on me? Salt? I'm like, no. What do you think? Who do you think I am?
Oh, that's good. That's not where my mind went.
Oh. And put them up. Put them. Sit up. So now I'm just gonna stare at him and make sure that I got everything. Take my shears. If there's any, little long hairs that the clipper missed. Just want to like play with your hair a little bit, make sure it's falling randomly, appropriately. Appropriate randomness.
Good texture.
Yeah. And see, it's clean here. That's what we want. I'm still going to show you the back of his neck with the straight razor. But really, I didn't want to do too much to his hair. I've probably said that 10 times. And that's fine, because this wasn't a haircut. It was a cleanup. He's growing his hair out. Let the man grow his hair out. Great. So I'm going to clean him up, show you the back of his neck. Is there anything else you were looking for today?
No.
Do you feel clean?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'm just going back over those areas. I'm getting a little sticky here with the hair. The straight razor. So if you're growing your hair out, don't laugh at me, Victor. If you're growing your hair out, oh wait, his name's Karen. If you're growing your hair out and you come to the barber shop and you still want something to be done, you still want to look presentable, maybe you have like a corporate job or something, don't be sad if you don't get like a full haircut, or it feels like they didn't do anything, because that's what they're supposed to do. If they do a bunch, then they actually probably are harming your haircut. It's like you don't ruin the progress that you've made just because you think that that's how it should be. You can always cut more off too. So if someone just cleans you up and makes it look presentable, you can always ask them to take more off. But really, if you're growing your hair out, you shouldn't be cutting a lot of hair off. I'm just looking at his sideburns, making sure that those are blended in. I'm gonna go over them just a little bit. This is the 2. This is where I initially kind of faded it in. I'm just gonna go back over it and blend that in a little bit more. Are you satisfied?
Yes.
Great, I'm satisfied. He had some stuff in his hair. When people have stuff in their hair, I don't like to put more stuff in their hair. I think he can just kind of rock what's going on with it. Also, usually after haircuts or being in the barbershop, people want to take a shower and get all the little hairs out, which is understandable. Hair is itchy and annoying. But good job on growing your hair. I just met you and I'm proud of you. You're eating your vegetables.
Probably not as many as
All right, well, there we go. There he is.
Sweet.
All right, guys, let's be real here. Your beard is amazing and you invest in your beard. But are you investing in your head here? We've got some amazing shampoo and conditioner over at beardbrand.com that will help get your hair game at the same level as your beard game.